Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another edition of NFL Offseason Rumors. The first thing I quickly want to talk about, the Adam Schefter situation with Trayvon Haskins, the tweet he put out, the people saying he should get canceled. We're going to talk about all of that. On the Trayvon Haskins stuff, as far as I know, Trayvon Haskins, the speculation is he ran out of gas on his way to the airport, got out of his car on the side of the highway, tried to cross the highway, and got nailed by a dump truck. That's the rumor that I have heard. Someone, apparently an eyewitness, actually called 911 about Haskins. This happened at like 6:30 in the morning on Saturday, and said, listen, this dude is doing, I'm not trying to speculate anything. We'll see what happens. I'm guessing he just ran out. He was on his way to the airport, right? He was on his way to catch a flight. They had gone down to Miami or Fort Lauderdale, wherever it was, to do a little QB clinic with Mitch Trubisky and all the Steelers quarterbacks. It's a typical offseason thing. So I don't think it's anything like suicidal or anything like that. I don't want to speculate. But it is weird that there was an eyewitness that said he called 911 about Haskins walking across the highway. And again, my speculation is you get stuck on the side of the road, you're trying to make a flight, you're going to, whenever you're on the side of a highway, you never think, oh, I'm going to get hit by a car. You never think that. It's just something that in a split second, you're not paying attention, it happens. So that situation, I'm guessing he ran out of gas, something happened with his car, and he got out, and, it obviously wasn't the smartest thing, but he was trying to cross a highway and got nailed by a dump truck. Adam Schefter tweets out this recently, it got deleted minutes after. Trayvon Haskins, a standout at Ohio State before struggling to catch on with Washington and Pittsburgh in the NFL, died this morning. So it is very insensitive. I think the thing with Adam Schefter is he's very robotic, and he wants to kind of add a football spin to everything. And, this is a 24-year-old dude who just died, and you're literally reporting about the death, and in the report where you're saying it's breaking news, Trayvon Haskins has died, you're mentioning him that he struggles in the NFL. Listen, we understand that can be discussed at another time. There's a time and a place. It's literally thunderstorming right now. I don't know what it's doing, but there's a time and a place for discussions like that. You can't put that in the frickin' tweet where you break the news that he just died and was hit by a dump truck. So it is very insensitive. And then you had the Twitter backlash. It was crazy. You had people saying that Adam Schefter should get suspended. None of that's going to happen. They're going to ESPN will keep Adam Schefter on the down low for a little bit. But I think it was just a situation where obviously Adam Schefter should not have said it. He's very robotic. He wants to add kind of a football narrative to everything that happens. He thinks that's his job. And, people were very emotional. This news hit a lot of people very hard. The kid's 24 years old. He was an Ohio State superstar, even though he only played 1 year at Ohio State. 50 touchdown passes. That's the Ohio State record currently. Most passing yards in a single season. That's also the Big Ten record. So a lot of people were shaken by it. And then you see an insensitive tweet like that, and then people kind of had a major breakdown and a major backlash and said some pretty ridiculous things about Adam Schefter. And at the end of the day, he shouldn't have said it. It was a ridiculous tweet, but I don't think Adam Schefter is a bad person. So that's just the situation that happened there. I wanted to touch on it. Again, the speculation is, for whatever reason, Trayvon Haskins had car issues and tried to cross the highway. It is one of those things where if you're on the highway and your car breaks down or something happens, I don't know if I would get out, but if I got out, I would not think, I'm going to get hit by a car or anything like that. So I just think this was a situation where I don't know why you would be crossing though. I don't want to speculate on it, and I'm sure more stuff will come out, but it was a very interesting situation there. We also have some other reports. Deshaun Watson, look at this. Overthecap.com's. I love Over the Cap, by the way, guys. If you're looking for a salary cap site for the NFL, Over the Cap is amazing. And this writer, Jason Fitzgerald, believes the Browns deal, the Browns extension with Deshaun Watson, makes 0 sense at all. Clearly, the Browns were desperate Fitzgerald told The Atlantic, "I mean, the deal makes absolutely zero sense at all. They threw in an extra year on there. I'm sure all of the other teams that were in on it were like, we're trading away so much. We'll work with you a little bit on the contract, but we're not doing that." Cleveland is like, after they got eliminated, what if we offered this to him? So, yeah, there's desperation. The Browns have a roster that is built to win now, but they don't have the quarterback that is in place to win now. You've got an unbelievable offensive line, 2 superstar running backs. The receiver core could use some help. They were able to get Amari Cooper. Well, they're going to need another receiver, definitely. And then a really good young defense led by Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward as well, and then maybe they re-signed Jadeveon Clowney. So the Browns, in essence, yes, they were desperate, and they told that maybe they were eliminated by Deshaun Watson, and they went to Deshaun Watson and said, "Listen, we will give you a contract extension that's better than any of these other teams could offer." And, they might have been desperate. They might have been. Teams that need quarterbacks in the NFL are desperate. And the Browns were in kind of a quarterback purgatory where they knew the secret's out on Baker Mayfield. He's very likely not a franchise quarterback. And we're seeing right now, partly in due to the Browns having no leverage, but also, nobody's banging at the door to trade a second or third rounder for Baker Mayfield. Let's be honest, guys. So Baker Mayfield clearly doesn't have a ton of value in the NFL circles. According to other NFL GMs, if he did, he would have already been traded for a second or for a third round pick. The Browns are going to be forced to eat some of Baker Mayfield's salary just to move him. So that reinforces the whole idea that, yes, the Browns were desperate and you got to do whatever you can to get a superstar quarterback, and they did what they had to do. Now, the Browns are going to have their own issues with the salary cap thing. Deshaun Watson is eating up a crazy amount of salary cap, kicking in starting in 2023. They're going to have to deal with that. They're going to have to deal with paying that much. That's something that the Chiefs have to deal with. That's something that the Dallas Cowboys currently have to deal with. Anytime you pay a quarterback such an absurd amount of money, same thing, that's going to be happening with the Chargers when they have to pay Justin Herbert. Joe Burrow with Cincinnati. You're going to have to allocate. That's just the reality of the situation. You're going to have to allocate so much money. Also, we've got another report saying that Jason Fitzgerald, whoever this reporter is, believes the Bears are implementing a complete teardown in the hopes of rebuilding in 2023. It is code red for Justin Fields right now, guys. If you're a fan of Justin Fields like me, it is OMG. This team, you look at the receivers, they brought in Byron freaking Pringle. That's the best receiver they got. David Montgomery, he's decent, I guess. The offensive line could use some help. But as a Justin Fields fan, I am so nervous. I mean, this isn't even like a Jets situation where the Jets have tried to get an elite receiver. Teams just aren't willing to trade. The Jets offered the 10th overall pick for DK Metcalf. The Jets were in on Tyreek Hill, where Tyreek Hill could have chosen to be traded to the Jets. This is not a situation like that. The Bears just simply have not gotten anyone to help Justin Fields. No, young tight end. They do have 2 second-round picks. Maybe they use one of them on George Pickens to pair with Darryl Mooney. But this is a code red situation. I don't know if they're going to tear everything down again. I will say, if Justin Fields is left with this wide receiver core and does not improve at all or does not improve significantly, I think it is possible to speculate based on what they've done this offseason that they might tear down again. Like, at this point, with what they've done, they've been so laissez-faire, with free agency, signing no one, we knew they were going to let Allen Robinson go, but still, no trades, nothing. I will say, I did like the Khalil Mack trade. Get a second-round pick for an aging player. Khalil Mack is a really good player, but he is getting up there in age, and he has been injured. You were able to parlay that asset into a second-round pick, and maybe you're able to draft one of these young stud receivers in the second round. I would highly recommend they also draft David Bell, who I think is an absolute beast. He's completely underrated. He is a wide receiver from Purdue, and then maybe you could rebuild the quarterback room. We've got another update on the draft. We've got an NFL analyst saying he wouldn't be surprised if 5 quarterbacks are taken in the first round, and that really is a breath of fresh air because we've seen all these NFL draft experts hating on this quarterback class, and while it may lack top-end talent, this is a very deep quarterback class. You've got guys like Malik Willis. You've got a Matt Corral, who I see in several mock drafts going in the second round. It blows my mind. Underrated guy like Carson Strong, who's got an amazingly strong arm, very similar to Josh Allen. I will say I am not high on Kenny Pickett at all. I'm just going to go ahead and say I think whoever drafts Kenny Pickett is drafting a bust 100%. So if Carolina takes him 6 overall, maybe New Orleans uses one of their first round picks on him. I am not high on Kenny Pickett. I don't think Kenny Pickett does one thing that's elite in the NFL. But you've also got a guy like Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder's a very interesting prospect, kind of like that Dak Prescott mold where he's a leader. Like Desmond Ridder is a leader, he's a winner. I think Desmond Ridder is a guy that has a high floor but a very low ceiling, similar to what Carson Wentz currently is in the NFL, meaning he's a guy that he could win you some games, like Jimmy G, right? He'll win you some games, he'll keep you in games, but he's not that Justin Herbert, that Joe Burrow, that guy that can really take a mediocre roster to the next level. That's my view of Desmond Ridder. So Malik Willis, Matt Corral, Desmond Ridder, all as guys along with Kenny Pickett, and then maybe someone, although I haven't heard much of it, I would love a team to jump into the first round and draft maybe a Carson Strong. I also love Bailey Zappi, by the way, the Western Kentucky quarterback who is currently being mocked right around late round 3, early round 4. So this is a very deep quarterback class. Very different from 2023. The 2023 NFL draft is going to be just completely headlined by Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, 2 quarterbacks who are just amazing prospects. They're going to be the very likely number 1 and number 2 overall picks in 2023. It'll be interesting to see who tanks completely for them. Looks like the Atlanta Falcons are on the inside track to do that, but just a little quick update on that. And then this last tweet that I found a little ridiculous, and it's the Trayvon Walker hype, guys. It's getting out of control. Trayvon Walker is a tweener. He's not going to be an elite pass rusher. He's not going to be an elite defensive tackle in the NFL. He is a tweener, and whoever drafts him inside the top 10 is drafting, in my view, a bust. Personally, that's my opinion. This tweet is basically saying that they think Trayvon Walker could go in front of Aiden Hutchinson, meaning he's gone all the way up the boards to the number 1 overall pick, and this happens again and again with certain players where when you go back to the last game of the college football season, Georgia-Alabama, at the end of that game, Trayvon Walker was being mocked in the second round. There has not been a single snap played by any draft prospect, and Trayvon Walker went from a second-round pick to potentially the number 1 overall pick because people are intrigued by his athletic ability. Guys, this happens again and again with several guys, and someone's going to fall for this trap. I'm hoping he's a guy, at this point, he's a lock for the top 10, probably a lock for the top 5, for a top 5 overall pick, but if he goes number 1, I don't think it's going to happen. You get these rumors all the time. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's out of control with Trayvon Walker, guys. He is going to be a bust. He is a tweener. He is not going to be an elite defensive tackle. He is not going to be an elite pass rusher, in my estimation. This happens again and again. You go to the last game of the college football season, Trayvon Walker's being mocked in the second round. There has not been a single snap. There has not been any game film. And Trayvon Walker goes from that to his second overall pick because people have too much time on their hands and they like unicorns. And really, I think George Karlaftis is better than Trayvon Walker if you're looking for kind of like a unicorn, big defensive edge rusher, personally. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.